Hello, everybody. I'm live here with Sarah, Lacey's friend. And I'm going to go ahead and set the timer for 30 seconds to give more time for people to come in the room. And then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, hello, everyone. How are you doing, Sarah?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining me. So I want to start, just give people like a little backstory. So how long have you known Lacey for?
Okay. Yeah, actually, Lacey and I did IVF together. Our daughters are less than 2 weeks apart. So, basically, I know Lacey's mentioned it a little bit on her Instagram and stuff that she Summer's a rainbow baby, as is my daughter. I had just found out that I had lost my son, and I had seen on Love After Lockup that Lacey had gone to the same IVF clinic that I was going to. And I literally reached out to her on Instagram and basically just told her, I was like, look, I'm going to that same IVF clinic. Like I said, I just lost my son at 15 weeks. So I was like,
I'm sorry.
I was like, I'm really going through a hard time. I was like, but I just want to let you know, like, you're at a really great place. They're very supportive. I'm going to be heading like right back there as soon as I'm able to do another embryo implant. And she like immediately reached back out to me and literally was like, funny that you're saying that. Like, I had actually, just lost a baby as well. And that's kind of like how our relationship started. We basically we both did our IVF cycles less than a month apart from each other. There would be times that she'd be on one side of the clinic and I'd be on the other side, and we were like texting each other back and forth. Um, but that's how our relationship started. And I mean, from there, it just grew into like a really amazing friendship. And I think it's just pretty awesome, too, again, that our girls are literally 13 days apart. And I love her children. She knows all of my children. That's how all of that started.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you guys met you from on Instagram, then you reached out to her on Instagram?
Yeah, I did. Just because, like I said, I had seen the show and I saw that she had gone to visit the same IVF clinic that I was currently at, and I just wanted to tell her, like, that's a really good place to go. So if you're really considering it, like, you're going to be in super good hands. So yeah, that's how everything started.
Oh, that's cool. So what was I gonna say? So have you seen Shane's latest Instagram post?
God. I do and I don't. There are times that I kind of try to stay off of it, and I mean, it's kind of like twofold. The first reason being that a lot of it is BS. But the second thing is at the same time, I feel bad for him because I I just think that he's kind of in a manic state right now, and he's not really I mean, I don't want to say not aware of what he's saying or doing, but at the same time, he's just rambling. And
Yeah.
he doesn't realize that he is getting himself into probably some pretty hot water with some of his rambling, as well as serious accusations that he's making. Which, that's pretty dangerous. You probably shouldn't be going accusing people of abusing Summer, um and saying all of that stuff, when it really hasn't happened. You shouldn't do that. Again, you're talking about getting into some serious hot water with that. But I also kind of stay off of it too, because uh a lot of times I'm seeing a lot of fans still somehow or another placing all of this stuff back on Lacey, and I just think that is so crazy. It's nuts. Like, she's not there, like typing
Yeah.
in or making these posts for him or whatever, or telling him that he needs to say it. It's kind of crazy. I mean, Shane is his own person. Shane is choosing not to seek out a lot of the help and treatment that he should be doing. And because of that, it's causing like a spiral downfall. And that legit has nothing to do with Lacey. It really doesn't. There are underlying issues there that he really should be getting a lot of help for. And he
Hmm.
knows that. And Lacey, she would know what I'm talking about. I mean, he has certain diagnoses that are very serious. And that has nothing to do with Lacey. Like, he has those whether or not him and Lacey were ever together.
Yeah.
Um, and
But
the
is
only
he
person
diagnosed
that can
with?
do what?
He's diagnosed with bipolar. Do you know if he's diagnosed with anything else?
I don't know. I do know that that is one of his diagnoses. If he is diagnosed with something else, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know firsthand experience. I live with someone that has that condition, and when you when that person chooses not to do medication or therapy or get help or anything like that, you literally are dealing with someone that has like really really high highs and really low lows. There's not really a medium balance there. And you know it doesn't matter if Lacey and Lacey is doing what she needs to do as a mother to protect her children, especially Summer right now. Um
Hmm.
she is not doing this as a punishment to Shane. She's not doing this for any type of attention. She's not doing it for anything like that. She would love to have a co-parenting relationship, a healthy co-parenting relationship with Shane, and for Summer to be able to see him. But as a mother, and I understand this, you have to do what is in your child's best interest. And right now, he is not doing what has been recommended to him by professionals. And so, therefore, she's not going to subject Summer to potentially like really harmful and damaging behaviors until I mean he needs to do what he needs to do in order to have a healthy relationship with Summer. And Lacey point blank is doing what she needs to do as a mother to protect Summer from any type of damage or anything that could have serious impact on her now or in the future. It's that
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know about Shane's last post, I'm just going to read it real quick just for some context. So, after I made that video yesterday, Shane posted, "My real, not fake. It takes a real man to walk away from an infant baby abuser, aka John Slater, a piece of ish that lets that around her own kids. Lacey, a curbside prostitute looking alcoholic. No wonder I walked away. He wouldn't, but I'll be damned if I ever walk out on my daughter's life. You piece of ish. Maybe next year we should vote on that, Lacey, since I always got to cover you and John's. But I'm not doing the show without a lie detector test for next season. Asking about if John is hurting my daughter because that ish face did take me off my contract. If I'm not a low life like y'all, period. Tired of covering pieces of tracks. So do you know about John ever doing anything to Summer?
Absolutely not. He has actually I mean I've talked to Lacey numerous times on the phone. I mean John has been actually extremely helpful with not only her other children but Summer as well. He has not put any hands on Summer, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, those are serious accusations to make against somebody. And can we also just stop for 2 seconds and look at how he is addressing Lacey? That is the mother of his child calling her a prostitute. Like, that's not okay. Like, whether you guys are together or not, that is not okay.
Yeah.
And I know that type of the those types of comments, not always the prostitute, but those low, hit below the belt comments and talking about her like that happened all the time. um and that's just, at the end of the day, that's not okay. It's not. And he's
Yeah.
going and publicly doing it now. Like, I can tell you that would happen behind closed doors on a regular. So I kind of feel like you guys are starting to see some layers peeled back from him, as far as what really has been going on and what Lacey has really actually been dealing with during the pregnancy, as well as the birth and after the birth of Summer, with Shane again not following through with what professionals have highly advised him and told him that he should be doing. Um, Again, like I said, with the bipolar, you have those really high highs and you have those really low lows.
Yeah.
And it's manic behaviors, and it's like anything can trigger it too. That's the thing. Like, literally, a dish in the sink can cause somebody to flip out, and that's kind of, I feel like that's kind of what we're getting right now. And it's really sad and it's unfortunate for him.
Yeah. Did Lacey and Shane have problems before Summer came in, or did it just all start happening like once Summer was born? He just wasn't going to the gym as much.
I know. I don't think that they were having problems before. I reached out to Lacey. It was 2 months before she ended up doing the actual IVF. That she ended up pregnant with triplets,
Mm.
lost the twins. Um, but I mean, Shane was, as far as I know, doing great, like wanting to be very, very involved. She was allowing him to do the shots on her, the IVF shots, and there's tons of them. I would joke around with her and be like, "You're a brave soldier," because, like, I'm not even allowing my husband to do that to me. Like, I'm gonna give
Yeah.
myself my own injections. But they were doing really well. I know that during the pregnancy, though, is when certain things started to happen. And, whether that's a play of this mental disease on top of pregnancy hormones. Obviously, we can all be crazy when we're pregnant. I know I was, especially with having a girl. I don't know what it is about a girl pregnancy that makes some women go completely nuts. I did.
Mm.
And I know that, Lacey we would talk. Shane would be really rude and ugly and disrespectful to her. I can tell you, I know that when Lacey was in labor, he actually left the room for a while. Um, he made it back just in time before Summer was born. Um, that was kind of crazy, but that did happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Did he almost miss the birth of the
did
baby?
Yeah, he came right when she was getting right when Summer was crowning. Yeah. Um,
Oh,
that happened. That did. Like, Lacey did, she did quite a bit of laboring on her own with Summer. And so I would say that the problems, or the starting to show again, those like kind of high highs, lows kinds of things, those started happening during the pregnancy. But a lot of it was blamed on Lacey being pregnant. Well, you're looking into that too much because you're just pregnant. You're just too emotional. You're just too this. You're just too that.
yeah.
And then, of course, after Summer was born, um, then those things just continued and actually just continued to get worse. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Was he working up until they had Summer? Or did he quit his job before then?
Shane's had quite a few jobs. So I'm not sure which job you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that, but it's true.
Okay.
I feel like he would have some jobs, and then he would say he doesn't like it, or he wanted to focus on this, or I'd rather do this. And that's what would happen. But then he would go get another job and work that for a little while. It was kind of like just a cycle, if you will, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you explain, like, what happened with Shane when he went missing? Like, what was going on when all that happened?
Yeah. So I'll tell you right now, for anybody that just thinks that Lacey wants to do nothing but see bad from Shane, when Shane went missing, I can tell you right now, Lacey was extremely worried and concerned. She immediately, I received messages from her, and she's like, Sarah, I don't know what to do right now. I literally have the Connecticut police trying to call my phone. They're leaving me messages, and it's about Shane. I don't know what's going on. I've called them back. They're not really giving me any details about stuff. They got, according to Lacey, they got her number from Shane. Uh, Something about him wandering around on foot in a neighborhood, knocking on doors like in the middle of the night, looking for Lacey.
What?
We're in Virginia. He's in Connecticut. Um, they got Lacey's number because Shane gave it to them.
Yeah.
But because of, laws, HIPAA, all that stuff, the police weren't able to give Lacey but so much information. But she legit at one point thought that he had died. And I was like, no, if that was the case, they would tell you that, Lacey, it's okay, calm down. She was calling every hospital that she could up there. She called the Virginia Beach police, got them in touch with the Connecticut police, wanted to file missing persons report. She had reached out to his family and never heard anything back from them. She was extremely concerned. Whether or not her and Shane again are together or not, she still recognizes that is the father of her child. She's always going to love him to some degree because they did have something at one point, and she doesn't wish ill will on him. But when he went missing, she was extremely concerned. And I know that when she found him, she was very, very relieved. We don't know. She doesn't know if his family knew all along where Shane was, and they just chose not to tell her. Which, that's really messed up because again, that is the mother of his child. Whether or not they wanted to, if they did know where Shane was, if they wanted to go into detail about it, they didn't have to do all that. But when she reached out to them and said, this is what's going on. Connecticut police are reaching out to me. When is the last time that you've heard from him? I'm really worried about this. The least that they could have done is said, if they knew, we know where Shane is. He's safe. You know what I'm saying? Not just straight up ignore her and have her literally, the girl was crying, losing sleep. Like she was stressed out. And when she did hear that, he was alive and in a hospital, there was relief, and she hoped that he was going to receive the help that he needed, and that he would be more open to getting that help. From what it looked like on the video that was posted around Christmas time, it doesn't look like that is what happened, unfortunately. But again, Lacey has nothing to do with that. Those are Shane's choices.
So when Lacey and Shane broke up and he went to jail, was he still seeing Summer after that, or did she have sole custody?
Lacey's had sole custody of some. So again, and I've seen comments about this. When Shane went missing, that Lacey had sole custody of Summer way before that. That event did not trigger Lacey to go and get sole custody of Summer. Lacey has had sole custody of Summer for a while, because of a lot of Shane's outbursts, I guess you could say. That is something that she was very concerned about. I know that she had told me a couple of times that he had threatened to take Summer, like drive off with her and not tell
Mhm.
Lacey where they were going. And after the whole entire cat incident, I know Lacey, Shane was not at the house after the cat incident happened. He wasn't. He was not living there. Um, he went to go stay somewhere else, bounced around, I think, for a little bit. And he had told Lacey, I promise you, I'm getting help. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing that. Please, please, please. Can we try to reconcile here? And she believed him. She really thought that he was being serious about getting help and that he recognized what he had done was really horrible, really wrong. But he wasn't on medicines when it happened. And he said that he was going to start getting help. So she allowed him to come back and tried to reconcile the relationship. But as soon as Shane was back in the house, like all of the things that he had said to come back, started to not happen. So that led to more arguments, fights, threats, all that stuff. And she just realized that some of the threats that he was making, for instance, like I said, threatening to run off with Summer and not tell Lacey where he was going. Um, she basically went and filed, and he signed the papers. He's well aware of what he signed, that gives Lacey sole physical legal custody of Summer, and that he has visitation at her discretion. Um, and again, it's not to keep Summer from him. That's not what the goal is here. But Shane has to be healthy in order to see Summer, because he needs to have a healthy relationship with Summer and not a dysfunctional one. And Lacey's doing what she has to do as a mom to ensure that.
Yeah. Where do you think it was that made Shane start like spiraling and just being different? Because it seemed like when he was on TV and everything, he seemed fine, and then I don't know. It just seems like he hasn't been himself this past month. I know he's really going through it with his kid and everything, but
I mean, it's not been a month. This is like our girls are already 1 years old.
mm,
This has been going on. Like I said, these things were starting to happen when Lacey was pregnant. So,
mm,
we're talking, this has been going on for a while. Um, as far as the show goes, I like the show. I watch the show. I hope everybody that watches the show, that you take a lot of this stuff with a grain of salt. um, you know, I can, I was at the beach. Let me just give you an example here. I was at the
okay.
beach with Lacey when we filmed that day. We
Mm,
were there. I think we got there around 9:30 a.m. We didn't
mm,
leave until 6 p.m. that day. And you guys saw what? 5 minutes? But we
yeah,
had been filming the whole day. Okay. Editing is a wonderful thing in TV, right? We can make
yeah.
anything look how we want it to look. We can make anybody have an image that we want them to have. And I think that everybody has always really rooted for Shane, because Shane has really seemed like he has, like, he's got it together, and he's very well spoken for himself.
Mm,
Um, that doesn't mean that that's how somebody is behind closed doors.
mm,
So, and again, the magical editing of TV, the show does a great job of making it look like Lacey never has her children. Lacey has her children all the time. Okay. Her father is not raising those kids. Her mother is not raising those kids. Are her parents involved in her children's life? Absolutely. But I can tell you that there were times that she was filming that I had to watch the kids because it was scenes and stuff that they didn't need the kids there for. So these are reasons why you guys don't see the kids on TV a lot. It has nothing to do with Lacey not having her children or always dropping them off at her parents' house. That is not the case. She has her kids all the time. But again, people can edit something to make it look however they want to. So that's all I can really say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like Lacey and Shane were portrayed accurately on the show?
I mean, I feel like Shane was really, I think during the first season and the second season, like that is the Shane that Lacey knew and fell in love with. That was him. After when she got pregnant is when things kind of started to take a turn. And then, like I said, after Summer was born, that's when things really took a turn. Lacey, no, I think they portray Lacey to be just like like a man eater or something. I'm going to tell you right now, Lacey is probably one of the sweetest people that I have ever met. She seriously has a heart of gold. She really does. She will do anything to help anybody out. She has been there for me. I could not even begin to tell you how many times. She is a wonderful friend. She's a fantastic mother. Her children absolutely adore her. Her children are her number one. That is her main concern, always has been, always will be. And I feel like the show really doesn't show that or focus on that or put any type of, lighting on that for her.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing.
Do you feel comfortable talking about any Shane's charges?
I will tell you, I did, I breezed through just a little bit of your podcast thing yesterday that you did. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you kind of hit a lot of this stuff. I can tell you that, the charges for Spooky and what happened, to the best of my knowledge, it has not been dropped. It's one of those things that, like I said, if he was ever to be recharged with something like that, could come back up. I don't know what the legal term for that is. I know that I am the one that watched Lacey's kids when she took Spooky to the hospital. Spooky was in really, really bad shape. It was really heartbreaking. Truth be told, I didn't think that she was going to make it because of her injuries and because she had been missing and in that state for close to 24 hours.
Yeah, that's just so messed up. Like, and you're gonna try to help find the cat like the night before, and then the next day, like, not even try to find the cat when you know the cat's suffering. It's just so heartbreaking.
Yeah, and what's really just devastating about the situation, I mean, just to add like an extra layer of like just sadness to it, is that it was Lacey's son that found her. Like this 10-year-old little boy.
And that has to be traumatizing.
That's what I'm saying. This 10-year-old little boy, found her. And I was watching him as well as Summer when Lacey immediately took Spooky to the emergency vet clinic, because that's exactly what she did. And every single time his mom was calling to check up on those kids, as well as like texting, it was heartbreaking because her son would literally, every single time the phone rang, you almost just saw like the color go out of his face and like his eyes just like fill up with tears because he was so scared that he was going to hear that his cat like didn't make it. And I'm so glad that Spooky did make it. But that whole situation was really, it was really sad. It was really devastating. And then, of course, when her son found the cat, yeah, I mean, Shane tried to bolt out of the house, and run away from the situation. I do remember too, also, that Lacey had told me, because you kind of like go into shock in situations like that. You don't like, things start coming back to you that had happened like the day before, whatever, where you're like, oh my God, why didn't I pick up on that? When she had come
Yeah.
back from filing her taxes, um, I remember her telling me that she specifically remembered that the kitchen smelled like bleach and that he had been cleaning it up and said that he had spilled something.
Oh, from
So,
all the cat's blood he was trying to clean up.
bingo.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw the
So,
pictures. They're graphic.
you've seen the pictures, and those pictures are accurate. I know exactly what they look like because I've seen them. Like I saw all of it. And really, like, if anything, that right there just needs to, I would hope that that would be such a wake up call to Shane that he needs to do what the doctors are advising and get help and be on medications to help with this. Because, I'm not saying that you're going to do it to your daughter or somebody else. At the same time, though, if you go on one of those manic episodes and someone pisses you off, I don't know if you really know or have control over what you're doing, because this kitten was, I don't even think she was, what was she, 6, 7 months
Six
old? She was a
six
kitten.
months and like 2 weeks or
She
something like
was
that.
a baby. She was a
Yeah.
little baby. And Shane also knew how much Lacey loved that cat. That
Mhm.
that cat, that cat was always on Lacey. That loved that cat. And that's just really it. The whole situation was really, really sad, and it was really, um, just traumatic. And I'm glad that Spooky's alive, because honestly, I did not think she was going to make it. I really didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was super heartbreaking too because the kids were probably there when all this happened too.
Yeah, they were, because Lacey had left them. So I
Yeah.
don't think that they witnessed anything, because if they did, they would have
Hopefully
seen her.
not.
But obviously, her son is the one that saw Spooky's ear up on top of the kitchen cabinet. And, they were looking everywhere for Spooky. They were looking outside. They were looking, just everywhere, underneath stuff, everything. And thank God that he found her, because I don't think she would have made it another couple of hours.
Yeah.
There's no way.
So did they let me see. So how am I gonna say? Sorry, my mind just went blank.
Oh no, you're fine.
So when they dropped the charges, I know the charges can still come back. But did they do that because Lacey not show up, or did they not have enough evidence?
So actually, funny enough, animal control is the one that didn't show up to court.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
they didn't show up, and at the time, um, Lacey wasn't really wanting to speak on it, because that was the time that um she and Shane were attempting to like reconcile.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how can you really reconcile something if you go and you testify against your spouse in court? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You kind of can't. So they,
Mm-hmm.
they were attempting to reconcile at that point. And so I know that she didn't testify. But I also know that animal control did not show up to court either, which is one of the reasons that it was like, not, it wasn't dismissed all the way. It was just kind of like put out there, like, if something else happens, we can still bring this back up, kind of thing.
So was there a restraining order put on him after that?
Yeah, there was, from what I remember, but again, once Shane had said that he was going to start going and getting help, and doing things, he was going to start going to the doctor, and he was going to start um doing what had been advised of him by medical professionals that she dropped the restraining order and allowed him to come back to the
Oh,
house.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh, um, and then the domestic stuff happened. Was that like a couple weeks later after the whole cat stuff happened?
Yeah, the domestic stuff, honestly, I don't know too much about the domestic stuff. I do know that her
Mm-hmm.
mother was there when the domestic stuff happened. And from what I know, um, I believe it was. I'm not sure if it was her mom that had called the police or if it was because they've got the camera system. I don't
Yeah.
know if anybody alerted the camera system. I'm not really sure, but I do know that the police like walked in and saw Shane acting kind of crazy, and they immediately arrested him.
Oh,
Yeah, but again, I don't know all the details of that. That's when things really just started to go downhill like very very fast.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, ca- do do you, and you said they're in the process of getting divorced. Did I already ask you that?
To the best of my knowledge, they are. I think that in the state of Virginia, if you have kids together, you have to be legally separated for an entire year before you can actually go through with like the actual divorce proceedings. So I can't remember exactly when Lacey had filed. And it was at that time also that she was granted the sole physical legal custody of Summer. So, I mean, I want to say that it hasn't been a year yet. It's probably close to a year. They might have a few or a couple more months to go in that separation agreement before it can actually be like filed out as an official divorce.
Yeah.
Because I know not all states are the same, but in Virginia, you have to be legally separated for an entire year before you can go through with the divorce proceedings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Are how has Lacey and John been doing?
they're good. Lacey's happy, and that's great. Lacey's happy. The kids, the kids are doing good. Obviously, that's the most important thing. Um, and even though Shane is the father of Summer, um, John John is very sweet and loving to Summer, and I think that speaks a lot on John's character. And I don't, John is an addict that is in recovery, and that should not be judged. If anything, that to me should be applauded. I know
Mhm.
because I'm married to a recovering addict alcoholic. Like, you know, no one should be scrutinized for the rest of their life because of that.
Yeah.
And John is John is in the process of trying to help other recovering addicts with opening up like a sober living home, like halfway house kind of thing. Um, and that's amazing. I know
Yeah.
that if he was back doing drugs, I know that Lacey would be done with it because she doesn't want her children around that. Um, so but no, there she's doing really good. She's very happy. And he's doing awesome, and I think it speaks a lot to his character that he is able to he's always been great with her other kids, but he's also wonderful with Summer. And you know that's really great, and he's doing well, and he is in recovery, and even better because that's a hard thing to do on a day basis sometimes.
Yeah. Do you feel like Lacey and John are going to end up getting married once her and Shane are divorced?
Are you talking about like right away? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think Lacey, you know, this is not what she had with Shane. It wasn't fake. It wasn't, it really it took a toll on her. It really did. Lacey lost, a lot of weight from stress during everything with Shane. The going back and forth, the trying to help him And when I say trying to help him, I mean, Lace was on the phone with me. Can you help me find, someone that has like an available appointment for him? I need to go to the pharmacy. I need to go get his medicines. I need to do this. I need to do that. And it's like she was working so hard to try to help him, but you can't want help for somebody that doesn't want help for themselves. And she
Yeah, that's
literally
true.
was like a hamster, like running around in a circle, just like in that wheel, like it was nonstop. She's putting in all of this work and effort, and he's not really wanting to do it, and so he wasn't. And
Yeah.
everything, just watching somebody that you genuinely loved and cared about going downhill, um going off the handle, at times like almost looking like a complete monster to you because they're going through this manic episode, and they're freaking out on you, and you don't know what to do because it's like you can't have that, but at the same time that someone else that you fell in love with is still in there. She really, really, really tried. She really did. She tried to help him out so much. And at the same time, too, though, she's human also, and to constantly be trying to want somebody to do better for themselves, and they say they're doing this, and then you find out that they're lying, and this and that and this and that. That's hard on anybody. And she went through a really stressful time with it, when they were together, and even when they weren't together. Really stressed out about just everything. Literally watching somebody that you fell in love with almost like fade away and disappear into somebody that you don't even recognize anymore. It was really hard for her. And I know that with John, she is taking things slow. Do I potentially see them staying together for quite some time? I do. I think that her and John are forever going to have a connection. They have a very long history together. And one thing that did tear them apart a lot of times was the drug addiction. But as
Mhm.
long as John continues to stay sober, um, I think that she is willing to continue on a relationship with him. And again, like I said, he's really good to her children, all of them. And he's good to her too. And she just seems like even just talking to her, she's got like a big weight off her shoulders. She's still sad about Shane, because again, it's watching somebody that you have a child with just kind
Yeah.
of going through these like crazy episodes, and there's nothing you can do. She doesn't wish him any ill will. She really doesn't. She wants the best for him, but right now it doesn't seem like Shane wants the best for himself.
Do you think like Shane started spiraling after like Lacey and John started talking again, or was he already spiraling before then?
He was already spiraling before then.
Like for a while, or like did he start spiraling and then she decided to reach out to John?
Yeah. I mean, because John has always been a friend to her, even whether they were together or not. They just have such a long, complex history together. And she Shane had already started, and it just got to the point where she was just kind of like, I don't really know what to do. And, it wasn't as if John looked and saw like, ooh, this is my opportunity to hop in here. No, it was like he literally was just there as like a listening ear. And again, kind of mirroring a lot of the same things that I would tell her, which is, you might not like what you have to do, but obviously you have to do what's best for you and your kids. And she had to make some really hard choices and decisions. But as a mom, that's what we got to do sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
So, did you? Is there anything else you want to clarify or talk about?
I the I wish that as women that we would stop dogging other women and choices that they make. I I'm one of Lacey's friends. I love her dearly. I don't care what Lacey's career choices are. That does not take away from her being a genuine person, an awesome person. She's got an amazing heart. And I think that people get so wrapped up in like, oh, well, she deserves this because she's got, she does fans only. Yeah, all that kind of stuff where it's like this, that's so silly. Like who in the world deserves this, or despite whether or not Lacey cheated on Shane, or Shane cheated on Lacey, none of that, like, can we take all of that off the table and really focus at like the actual issue here, which is Shane needs serious help, and Lacey really tried to get him the help that he needed. But Shane isn't doing his part, and because of that, there are obviously consequences, and those consequences had to turn pretty severe when his behaviors and the way that he was acting and reacting to things started becoming more severe also. Again, Lacey is a mom. She's going to do what she has to do to protect her children. It doesn't matter what other people think. That's what moms have to do. And the only thing that I really want to emphasize, and I hope that Shane, if Shane does listen to this, Shane, I really, really hope that you do get help. I really do. She does not, nobody, whether it's your Instagram family, whether it's your biological family, whether it's Lacey, it doesn't matter. Nobody wants to see you fail. Nobody wants that. Everybody wants to see you get help. Everybody wants to see you get better, because you and Summer deserve a healthy relationship, but you cannot have that until you get better. And that's that. And I hope that Shane looks at his support system, and I hope that he really does surround himself with people that truly do love him and want to see him do better, versus surrounding himself with enablers and people that are constantly making excuses or constantly shifting the blame on Lacey or other people for Shane's actions. She's not even in the picture anymore, and yet he still is continuing to spiral out of control. You got to stop blaming Lacey. You've got to. Like, at some point, you have to look in the mirror and you have to want better for yourself, and you have to do better for yourself. And just like Lacey had to make some really hard decisions, you have to make some hard decisions too, and start wanting better for you, but mainly Summer, because Summer deserves that. She does. She's a beautiful little girl. She is beautiful. She is a sweetheart. I mean, I love it when our little girls get together. They don't get together nearly as much as they should with school schedules and everything else. But Summer is a sweetheart. And, these are days that he's missing out on, that he's not going to get back. And that's really sad and unfortunate. And he does have the capability of repairing that relationship, but he has to do the work, and he has to do what he's going to say and say what he's going to do and stick with it. So, that's kind of all that I, have to say about it. And I'm sure there's still going to be Lacey haters out there. And if there are, there are. But at the end of the day, don't hate on the woman for doing what she's got to do to protect her children. If anything, applaud her for it, because that's what a real mom does.
Yeah. Yeah, I just hope Shane gets it together, because so he don't miss any more milestones and stuff like that. And as Summer gets older, if his mental health isn't right, that's going to be really impressionable on her.
And that's what Lacey's doing, is she's protecting Summer from seeing those manic episodes. And I get that, and I understand that. And that's what a mom does. We are there to protect our kids, and at any cost. And Shane has the opportunity to be back in Summer's life. He really, really does. He's got to be the one to do it, though. And it all has to start with him. And right now, I feel like it's just a blame game. He's not willing to take any accountability or ownership into anything that has happened. And you know, am I saying that Lacey is innocent with everything? No, but that's not what we're talking. Everybody's got to take accountability for their own actions, and you got to do what you got to do to get yourself right so that you can start living a healthy life and you can start having a healthy relationship with Summer, because Summer's really, she's a beautiful little girl. All of Lacey's kids are beautiful. They're wonderful, very well behaved. Lacey's done an amazing job raising them, and Summer is just an absolute sweetheart. She really is. And he's missing out on a lot of it. So I really do hope that he does get it together. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure. And, thank you for letting me hopefully clear up some, questions or answers that are floating out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw like some people say like, why don't we tell Shane side? I've reached out to Shane. Shane has me blocked. I've had other people try to reach out to Shane. Shane can come on my channel if he wants to tell his side. But I mean, Shane's not.
Look, when he went missing, he had Lacey blocked on everything. Lacey had me. I called and left Shane a voicemail, as well as reached out to him on Instagram, because she just needed someone to try to figure out how to get in touch with him. Like it just seems that, to me, the people that genuinely want to see him get better, he literally blocks them out of his life. And I don't know if that's just because that those people are wanting you to take a look in the mirror and really look and see what's really going on, and you're just surrounding yourself with people that are constantly making excuses and, again, placing blame on Lacey or somebody else for why things are the way that they are. You got to take accountability on your own stuff and get help.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, I appreciate you for coming on. I'm going to go ahead and end this live. Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you again, Sarah. I appreciate you.
Of course. I hope you had a Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a wonderful New Year's.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.